Hey, it's Dan. These pre-rolls can get boring quickly, so I'll be fast. Flop TV is back this September 2025 through February 2026 with all new streaming live shows that you can also see video on demand if you can't make it live. Individual tickets and season passes are available at theflophouse.simpletix.com. That's Tix spelled T-I-X, as well as all the info that is too much to say here. Now, the show. On this episode, we discuss War of the Worlds.
No joke, guys. This is the dumbest movie I've ever seen.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Flophouse. I'm Jan McCoy.
Hey, I'm Stuart Wellington.
You know me. I'm Elliot Kalin and continue to be to this very day.
Yeah,
Elliot seemed to be the most sure of who he was out of the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at our faces and tones of voice, Elliot was very confident.
I checked my driver's license right before the recording. And also
Yeah.
the tag on the back of my
good.
pants. Yeah.
Yeah, Scott Bakula just jumped into my body, so I was trying to figure it out while looking in a mirror.
Stuart
Oh, boy.
Wellington?
That could be worse. Once
Yeah.
Scott Dracula jumped into my body, and it was not pleasant.
I'd kind of be into it. Scott Dracula was a smoke show back in the day.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Now, do you think he jumped into my body and he's like, okay, what is my name? And he saw on the stovetop, he saw a bubbling bowl of stew. He's like, stew. Then he saw a piece of Dan's
Wellington.
lovingly painted artwork. He's like, art.
I assumed he just saw like the two of us and recognized us from the statues of us in the future
Oh,
Yeah,
statues
yeah.
in the future.
for
Yeah,
being
for bringing world
the
peace.
best
Yeah.
podcasters who brought world peace.
Yeah. Behold my works. I, Ozymandias.
Yep.
Behold my works, ye mighty. And laugh.
Well, speaking of the old world being destroyed, War of the Worlds.
Yeah, why
Dan,
not?
Yeah.
thank you for doing that. Or otherwise, I would have just started reciting Ozymandias, and nobody wants that.
Mhm.
Because, guys, I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and
God.
trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert,
Huh.
and by them on the sand a half-shattered visage lies." I'll tell you about it later.
Okay, sure. I'll tell you about this this ancient mariner I ran into.
Oh boy, you were on the way to a wedding. It was not
Guys.
convenient.
Can I tell you about Xanadu? We did it. We
In
covered all the
Kublai Khan?
romantics. Yeah.
We did it. We did it. Not the
Okay,
modern
well-
romantics.
No.
Or the new romantics.
No. Oh, so Dan, War of the
Yeah.
Worlds. This movie,
Uh-huh.
we were gonna do a different movie. We don't even need to talk
Yeah.
about it. And it was like, you rushed into the Flophouse press office. You were like, hot off the presses, stop the
Yeah.
presses. We gotta do War of the Worlds. And you hit the "we got one" alarm for like
Mhm.
Ghostbusters. And I was like,
Which Ice Cube hits multiple times in this movie,
Actually, that's
basically.
true. He does. And I have to say, I had never heard. My life at this moment keeps me too busy to be aware of much going on in the world, due to a combination of work and family stress. And so I had never heard of this
So when
movie.
you're not working or familying and you're like, you just pull up your phone to look at stuff, what are you looking at?
It's the idea of a time when I'm not work or familying is an interesting one, and I hope to explore that idea at some point.
Oh, okay.
So Dan mentioned this movie. I was not aware of it. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly aware of the story of War of the Worlds, but I have to say, Dan, thank you for bringing this one into my life
Sure.
because I would have just passed it by, and it is a special piece of stupid
Yeah.
that I was not expecting.
It has gone sort of mildly viral. Like there's a lot of internet chatter about how terrible this is, and there's articles. It had a perfect 0% Rotten Tomato score until very recently.
Armin White.
My friend Kimber, who's a film
trenchant
critic,
satire on the security state, says Armin White.
she was like, "Oh, my friend Jordan ruined the 0% on Rotten Tomatoes," but then I read his review for Entertainment Weekly, and it wasn't like a good review. It was like, is it really that bad? You're going to have fun because it's dumb. So I'm like, I don't know if that's a fresh review,
No.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
But, anyway.
I think their algorithm that determines whether something's fresh or not fresh did a bad job on that.
Yeah.
And don't ask
but
them to say what's funky fresh. They just don't know. Yeah.
But it's a case where, like, I feel like a lot of people have deliberately watched a bad movie, or maybe not deliberately, but more people have encountered a really bad movie than is normal because Amazon, pushed this so hard. It's like, okay.
According to the Chiron, it says top 10 in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of all time.
It's always amazing to me when Netflix does this a lot too, but on Amazon does it where they'll be like, most watched today, top 10. And it's like, yeah, because you put it on everybody's home screen.
Yeah.
Like it's right there. You can't,
It's like,
it's not a
dog,
level playing field.
You guys are the only streamer where you can watch fucking To Live and Die in L.A. Like, that should be top 10.
But it's a little bit like if you were like, once again, Donald Trump is the most talked about man in America. He's the fucking president and he's on the news all the time. Like, of
and
course.
he does everything possible to be talked
to
about
get
all
talked
the time.
about. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I'm bored. I'm going to climb on a roof.
Oh, no. We got to get the fire department to get him down again.
Do we
He's
have to,
fucking
Dan?
recycling Dharma and Greg plots now? Like, Jesus
true.
Christ.
Leave him on the roof like a Hangover movie. Let's see. That's
You
War
left
of the
your
Worlds.
DVD of The Hangover on the roof. Did
Yeah,
you ever
I
get it
did.
down?
It's melted. Well, it melted. It was a hot day.
Did that make it better or the same?
It made it unviewable. What does that do in your eyes?
So
that's a
Dan,
good question.
what's your experience with War of the Worlds? I'm sure you have encountered this story. It's one of the two most fundamental science fiction stories of Western literature, along with Frankenstein. I'm sure you've encountered it before. What's your experience with War of the Worlds?
Yeah, I read, when I was a kid, I read one of those little classics illustrated books of War of the
Dope.
Worlds.
Cool.
And
I feel like the Flophouse can, like, just unabashedly recommend Classics Illustrated.
yeah. And then I eventually read the H.G. Wells original. And
Great.
I'm more of a Little Wars guy, but I
I
think
don't know
just
that I've
speaks
ever
to me.
seen the George Powell version, but I've seen, of course, Spielberg's version, which I like a lot.
The George
great.
Powell version is good. The Spielberg version is fantastic. I think that's an amazing movie. Yeah.
And were you alive when Orson Welles did his radio drama?
Dan.
Yeah, I was.
you- Were you scared?
How
for
many
your,
years old would that
Were
be?
you scared for your
200 or
kids that the Martians were landing and you had to protect them?
Yeah, well, I mean, so right. It's my understanding that is a inflated story, right? That's the modern.
Yeah,
like,
it was. That's the modern take is that it did not really drive people into the streets and panic. But I will say I've listened to that broadcast any number of times. I really love it, and this movie is trying really hard to do something similar, which is to collapse time. The most amazing thing about the War of the Worlds radio show is that within about 25 to 30 minutes, the aliens have. They've noticed strange lights in the sky. Aliens have landed and destroyed all the militaries and killed millions of people within like a half hour. And the way it's spaced out, you're so carried along with it that it's not till afterwards that you're like, things move pretty fast. And this movie tries to do the same thing, where it seems like over the course of like an hour and 15 minutes, the aliens appear and then destroy all of the Earth's military forces. And it moves so fast that you're like, hold on a second, wait a second.
One of the most mystifying things to me it was like what kind of time is supposed to be passing here?
Yes.
Because like the movie makes it feel like it's
Real
in
time.
basically real time, except for we're getting all of these news reports that would only come after the fact, once journalists were able to like get on the ground, like log these reports. And it's one of the weirdest feelings to watch it, to be so unstuck in time.
Yeah, and there must be gap time because there are parts where Ice Cube, as we'll get to, as Dan will explain, he's just dealing with his family, and then suddenly he'll be pulled into a meeting, and they're like, give us your threat assessment. And he'll give them a researched threat assessment. And it's like, when did he have time to do this? Hold on a second.
He was
Like,
too busy answering or not answering FaceTime calls.
Yeah.
I read one review that mentioned that it takes place over what must be several days. I wouldn't necessarily assume that. I think it's supposed to be as close to real time as possible, which is hilarious. But Dan, so Stuart, what about you? What's your experience with War of the Worlds?
I mean, I think I'm gonna agree with all this. I haven't read the H.G. Wells story, but I've come across all this stuff, and also the second story arc of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
which is about the War of the Worlds. Yeah.
Which, I mean, at the time I was like, wasn't this made later? But then, I figured it out. And it fits within the time frame.
Amazingly,
et cetera.
Alan Moore did his research on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, something he normally doesn't do.
Now, so before we get started, Dan, I just want to say my experience with War of the Worlds. I've all the things that Dan talks about experiencing and that you talk about experiencing, Stu, I've experienced. And not to say I'm like the War of the Worlds completist,
big time us.
but I will say the thing that struck me about two different versions of the War of the Worlds, the Steven Spielberg version and that second issue of that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, second volume, is they're the things that, to me, best captured the feeling of being in New York on September 11th. They just captured that feeling of there's this enormous catastrophe, something terrible has happened, and you're just there, and you can't do anything about it. You have to get through it. And this movie,
and it's a catastrophe that you don't understand and don't have the facilities to research.
It is a mystery. You do not have access to the information. You don't necessarily trust the people who do have access to some of that information. I will say that this movie today failed to establish that same feeling for me of what it felt like on that terrible day. So maybe that makes it. So let's see if you guys felt the same way, that this movie fails to get across the seriousness of a global catastrophe.
Yeah.
We also, before we even get into any of it, we should say up front, this is one of those movies like Unfriended or Searching that takes place basically entirely on the desktop of a computer screen. Like sometimes it goes off to like other screens, but essentially it is one of those, which is, I mean, part of that, I guess, is this was shot during COVID, and so it's like,
they held on to it for a couple of years to fine tune it. Yeah.
But
to make it perfect.
I would say that this is maybe a story for which that is not the most natural fit.
It certainly hurts the scale of a movie about aliens invading the entire world to have it all be set on one guy's screen, and you're mostly looking at his face, but you're also seeing what's on his screen at the same angle that he would see it. So I guess maybe you're right behind his shoulder, and when you're seeing his face, you're seeing his reflection in the screen. I don't know. But also that so much of it is him just going, oh, damn. Oh, shit.
Yes.
While watching the news. And the other, that he is as Dan will explain, he is a guy who's supposed to be at the very center of the web of surveillance of the United States Department of Homeland Security. But he gets most of his information from watching the news. So he doesn't seem to really have access to that much information that's better, you know.
Just so no one writes in, I think that when we see him, it's like the camera in his laptop is so
he's constantly looking at his face in his monitor?
I'm not saying, I don't think it's like we're to believe that he is doing that. I'm saying that like that is the view from his computer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
even
like
though we
we're
can
not
still see the
necessarily
stuff that's on
seeing
his screen.
We imagine that the viewer is the computer.
Okay, but then the stuff that he sees on the screen should be backwards, right?
But computers can translate things forward and backwards.
Oh, you're right. That's why they're so good at everything. Yeah.
There's often a button that just says flip.
I thought that made the computer flip in the air like it was doing a skateboard stunt.
I will say, I think one of the key things that this movie fails to understand is that for this character, he is trapped in a situation where he is almost completely by himself, and he's in this room that's filled with desks and things, but he's the only one there, and he has to do his only lifeline is his computer. And there's never really a moment where they step out and show you even to not break the immersion of it. They could have just simply had a moment where we see the security camera footage
of that
from
room.
The office he's in to just show how alone he is and how he's just like this little man with a computer, and he has to figure it out from there. But the movie does not have the emotional intelligence to do that.
Let's get into the plot of it, though. So our hero, Mr. Ice Cube, he sits down in front of his computer. He says hi to it. He logs in. We see he works for the Department of Homeland Security. So he's playing a character
named Ice Cube?
Yeah. Look, I'm just going to... You act as if
it's Will?
On the Flophouse, we don't constantly refer to the actors to avoid confusion rather than their characters.
But I will say he's playing Will Radford, who is a surveillance expert at the Department of Homeland Security.
And Will is a great name because he has the will to kill some aliens.
Oh, and Radford is a great name because he's rad, like radical, but he also fords.
Like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly, like Harrison Ford. Thank you.
So he basically... At first, his job seems to just be looking at random closed caption security footage of various... closed caption. I saw CCTV on here. I just put closed circuit TV of various DC landmarks while the computer says stuff like threat level medium and or no threat detected.
What a great way to
Detective.
endear
No
us
threat
to
detective is the detective who is not going to hurt anybody.
what a way for a movie to endear us to a character than to show him being a fucking snoop, you know?
Yeah,
Like, what
I
the
mean,
fuck?
it is. This movie fails. I think it's fair to say it fails to reach the heights of moral empathy and ambiguity of the conversation, which is also about a professional snoop who we learn has a complicated relationship with his work, has his own inner life. It is presented right off the bat as if Ice Cube is his one issue is that he doesn't know how to relate to his family, as opposed to his issue being that he is that he's just eavesdropping and invading the privacy of every American in the country, including his family. Like it is just taken for granted that there's a certain level of constant surveillance that is good. Then there's another level that is never quite defined that is bad. But there is a level that is good, and he just he's so great at his job that he's a real hero. It's like any movie where you show somebody being great at what they do, it's just to establish that they're the best so that they can go on the rest of the movie. Except what he's great at doing is terrible. It's really bad.
Yeah,
and the
well,
movie
it's
doesn't seem to
also-
get that.
Like right off the bat, I'm like, I don't think this is how like security analysts do their job, just like sort of randomly checking in on
the way
security
that
footage.
the way Ozymandias callback in Watchmen just kind of watches a wall of televisions and picks up the gestalt feeling of American culture from that. Yeah.
I mean, it certainly is a good way of using cheap stock footage for your movie, but
Oh boy,
otherwise,
there's more ways to use cheap stock footage that they'll discover. Yeah.
yeah. But he gets a call from NASA scientist Sandra Sales, played by Eva Longoria, who sends him this footage of crazy storms and is like, have you heard about anything like this? And he says, I watch people, not weather. And I'm like, yeah. Like, why is the NASA scientist trying to call this guy about these storms?
I think there's a budding romance.
I think the implication is there, but also Ice Cube is treated.
Man, this movie would have crushed a fucking cyber sex scene, right? It would have been
sure.
like better than Lawnmower Man. Finally,
and right in the middle of a battle scene, aliens are attacking, and he's still going at it. Yeah,
I mean, he spends a lot of his time focusing on things that are not related to the saving of the human race.
That's very true.
So.
They never quite explain why someone at NASA would contact someone at Homeland Security to ask them about
storms.
Storms, yeah. Also, the storm footage is very funny. It's just a lot of lightning, but he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And there's a lot of sound on the footage, which you probably wouldn't necessarily have, but it comes off as very silly. And she's like, have you heard about this? And he's like, nope.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what you do. I don't know.
It's all the finest storms that Storyblocks has to offer.
Man, we're almost at like one of my favorite little things in the movie.
Okay, well, I don't know what it is. I hope I touch on it. If not, you got to jump in. The NSA director.
You've been pretty good about touching on Stuart's favorite things. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
The NSA director, played by Clark Gregg, texts him to say the FBI raid on terrorist The Disruptor is ready to go. And we hear a message from the Disruptor warning that he's going to release classified documents about the surveillance the government is doing on everybody with the Goliath program. And I am immediately on the Disruptor side against
Of course.
Ice Cube.
Well, and I think also the movie is not on the Disruptor's side, as we'll see. But the Disruptor, describe him, because he's the classic thing that you see in movies, but I feel like you don't see that much in real life ever.
He's the silhouette of a hoodie, essentially.
Yeah. And he's got like his voice has been manipulated so it sounds like, I'm going to release all the Goliath files and you'll see. And he is apparently famous because then there's like news reports that are like Disruptor gone after or something. Mm-hmm. So
Disruptor.
So you're saying he's a big racquetball guy.
The Eradicator.
You can unmask me now that you defeated me. Nah, it's okay.
Kids in the Hall, in case you're confused.
Kids in the Hall. Yeah, that's a Kids in the Hall
By what
sketch
just happened.
about a diehard racquetball player named the Eradicator who wears a mask, played by Bruce McCullough.
Oh man.
Him at the end in the showers at the gym with the mask on is so funny.
The Eradicator wins by default in its previous round. Meanwhile, Ice Cube calls his pregnant daughter Faith to berate her for having a muffin for breakfast instead of an egg because he's spying on her.
He's spying on her, and when it gives her details, it lists the father of her child as a baby daddy, and I love that shit. I love that's the classification the program gives.
So that's the first child. Also, his son calls him, mad that he deleted his game he was working on, which actually sounds pretty asshole-ish.
I thought it was a game he was playing.
He was playing.
Okay, I thought it was like he was designing a game, and I'm like, wow, you really
No,
destroyed.
he was alerted because he bought a game.
Yes.
Or something.
He
And
looked at he looked at he like was snooping on his son and saw that he had purchased a game. Yeah.
But it was like it was like more expensive than a video game, right? It was kind of weird. It was like 200 some bucks, maybe.
He probably got one of those haptic feedback chairs or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Fleshlights.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, you got to get the fleshlight. Well, I mean,
to play Halo.
yeah. Cortana.
And they have a little argument about whether safety is worth all the invasion of privacy of what Ice Cube and his
What side does the movie come down on, Dan?
security buddies. Well, eventually it comes down on we shouldn't have surveillance. Although, again, as you say, like it's only the surveillance that saves us from the aliens.
I think it comes down
And
on the side
gives
of
us a movie to watch.
yeah, true. I think it comes down on the side of maybe. Like this, it's not really taking sides necessarily.
How do you
pretending to.
feel, viewer?
Viewer, you make the call. Should our every move be surveilled by a shadowy government network? Right
here's what I'm-
into Arrest Me, care of Department of Homeland Security,
No.
Washington, D.C.
Here's one of my favorite little weird things. He sends the disruptor's address to the FBI. He pinpoints the address, and he sends it for a warrant. And I'm like, wait, they had a raid standing by already. Do they not have a location?
Well,
like, what's the order of operations here?
He calls in a raid, and they're like, "We're on it. Where's that warrant? Getting it to you." And it's bonkers how much power he has and how slapdash it is. But then again, the government kind of operates that way nowadays, so it's not super inaccurate.
He both seems like a very low-level analyst. I mean, like his son, like makes fun of his job, not just like for what he does, but the level he's at. But then later on, he's briefing the president, like. I never got a handle.
He seems
on,
to be considering there's other desks, it seems like, in the room he's in, but they're all empty. He seems to be the one analyst who works at the Department of Homeland Security.
I mean, obviously after Doge cut everybody, but also,
yeah,
or
that's
maybe he consumed all of them and got all of their power and abilities.
That's
Okay.
possible. Ice Cube is the biggest of the friends. As long as we're
So-
referencing jokes from other shows.
Yeah.
That's all we do.
Yeah.
He gets a call from Faith's partner. We meet Faith's partner about.
I do love that his name is Will and her name is Faith. I love it when characters' names tell you what they do.
And his son's name is Dave.
Uh-huh. He's Dave.
Because he's
we meet him.
He's a flawed king. Because we meet him.
Because he has a
also
double.
this is something I didn't pick up, but looking at the something I didn't pick up, but looking at the Wikipedia cast list, Faith's boyfriend is named Mark Goodman.
He
Oh,
is
come
a good
on.
man.
He is a good
He's
man.
named,
Fuck
he's
off.
named Dave because he's super, guys.
So Mark accidentally spills that there's going to be a baby shower that
What's
Ice
Mark's
Cube had.
job, Dan? What's Mark's job?
Well, I'm getting there. He's an
Okay.
Amazon delivery man in one of the
Sounds like a good man to me.
earliest of many reminders that this is an Amazon-made film.
Yeah. Those reminders get pretty thick near the end. Spoiler alert: when the purchase of a product on Amazon becomes a requirement for saving the human race.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's
Which is, I don't think it's the flex they intend it to seem like. They're like, they don't realize that they're like, well, we could save the world, but you have to buy something first.
yeah, exactly. We can't do it without you paying us. But you're saying so he spilled the beans. They're gonna have a baby shower for Faith, and Will was not even invited. She didn't invite her own father to her baby shower.
Yeah.
She assumed he was just going to watch this shit off of a drone or something.
I guess.
Well,
and later,
I
when we
mean-
see pictures of the baby shower, it's clear there are no other invitees besides the characters in the movie. So for Will to be snubbed is a big snub.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, they only had enough party sub for 4 people.
That's not a party sub. That's a regular sub.
Hold on.
Oh man,
This-
Dan sussed me out.
That's when the only guy left at the FDA who measures subs for their party classifications comes by. Sorry, doesn't meet party regulations.
I gave Donald Trump and Elon Musk so much money so that my catering business that sells regular subs and calls them party subs would get these tax breaks and get these deals. But now you guys caught me.
I had to
Yeah.
buy so much Trump coins so I could get my subs re-registered. Yeah.
Now I'm selling fun-size subs as regular subs. That's how the math
They're
works.
called fun size, but there's less fun because there's less of them. And he's just crying. This is when he's being deposed by Congress.
So, Will is perturbed by
Mister,
this.
we have been tasked with an important effort for the American people to ensure
Folks here.
honesty. Now, I may be just an old mule at the Cracker Barrel, but it seems to me if the American people think that we have a problem with sub-classifications, then by golly gum, I think we do. And we owe it to these American voters to take care of that.
Oh,
And then
boy.
everyone applauds.
No, and I'm just bawling my eyes out.
Finally, someone's draining the swamp. Anyway, Will is perturbed at this lack of an invitation, so he hacks his daughter's computer and spies on a conversation
Good dad. Yeah, he's a bad
Between-
dad, hacker dad. Yeah.
her and Mark, during which we learn she's a scientist working on important medical research that Trump probably just defunded.
Well, her research is some sort of what they call a cannibal code, where it's like
Yeah.
a virus that instantly eats, I guess, whatever it's been injected into. I don't know how useful that is.
But I think the idea is that this virus will theoretically like kill cancer cells or
Oh,
something.
well,
Yeah.
that's possible. Yeah.
Now, somebody pointed out, I can't remember who, but I saw somebody point out online that all the passwords are very short.
Yes.
And like it's like somebody's name. And it's like, that's a weird thing for a guy in charge of information security would be using.
Now, around this time, you might be wondering, well, he's got these kids. Does Will have a wife? Well, his wife has passed. He spends a little time missing his dead wife on her Facebook page and listening to an old voice message from her, reminding him, what was it, to take out the trash and be nice to the kids or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Or you don't get no spending cash, I think that's what she says.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I believe from the
Yakety
grid,
yak.
she said, don't talk back. Yeah.
So the disruptor
Guys,
raid.
how come we're not expanding our audience since each of us brings a totally different frame of reference?
Yeah, including songs from far before we were born.
But I will say there was a resurgence of Yakety Yak when we were kids. Yeah.
I also was talking to my brothers on. We've been doing like a FaceTime call like a couple times,
Just like the movie we watched.
a month.
That's where you got the idea.
And saying about they're like, how do you know about Macmillan and wife? Because I made some reference to that, and I'm like, well, I feel like back in the old days, there's a continuity of culture. We were forced to consume the stuff from
You still have to watch
before
like
us.
syndicated things. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we really are shooting ourselves in the foot with all these references because no one young watches anything like this.
No. No, they're certainly not listening to Yakety Yak until it shows up in a TikTok video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like this whole movie is made for people who don't like movies and just spend their time looking at their phone or computer screen.
It's certainly made for
Yeah.
people who don't know how computers work, I think, to a certain
Exactly.
extent.
So the raid on the disruptor, it's on. We meet Agent Jeffries, played by
I will say,
Angela Savage.
This is the first time I've seen a movie. There are other movies I've seen where it feels AI-ish. This is the first movie I've seen where I know humans worked on this movie, but it does feel like an AI made this movie. It feels like a movie that was put together kind of like by a thing that understands what's supposed to happen at each step in a movie, but doesn't quite get humanity, but not in
Yeah.
a fun Neil Breen kind of way where he clearly has seen a movie, but he didn't absorb anything.
You'd think the computers would know more about computers, though, but apparently,
That's true. The
the
computer
hardest
only
thing to know is yourself.
Exactly. Know thyself, said ENIAC.
ENIAC?
Yeah.
Is that who said it?
Yeah, well, not somebody
Who's
said
that?
it. That's a computer.
Tell me. Okay. We meet Agent Jeffries, played by Angela Savage, a funny actor. In other
But
things,
not funny in
doesn't
this.
have a comic role in this. Meanwhile, the NASA lady keeps bugging Ice Cube about these storms. Turns out the raid is at a decoy address. And in the middle of this failed raid, something starts happening. Debris or meteors are falling from the sky in flaming trails. And we get a bunch of disaster footage from all over.
And we get information that all the satellites are dark. Does not affect the constant feed of news, though,
No,
or access to the internet.
It seems like it's only the NASA satellites that are down because as you're saying, throughout the movie, they're like, our data systems are down, but in 24-hour news continues. His internet service does not go away. He can use the Amazon website to order
There's
something later.
fucking hashtags and social media shit all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, there's meteors falling, and normally we'd be like, "What's going on?" But the name of the movie is War of the Worlds, so we kind of have a sense of what's going to happen. Yeah.
Eva Longoria, NASA lady, warns him that DC is about to get hit. So he tries to call Faith, but she's not picking up. And he locates her in surveillance footage, taking shelter beneath a table, and he calls Mark to go find her. And meanwhile, his son calls with meteors flying around in the background, and Ice Cube tries to tell him
the
where to
effects
go.
in this movie look great, too, right?
Yes. Tries to direct him to safety, but he seemingly does that, but they lose contact. So we don't know what's going on with the son yet. Cube gets on a Zoom call like all this time while he's wasting time with his kids. And I understand you want to save your kids. Well,
I can't say wasting time with his kids, but he is certainly not doing his job. During those
because he's
times.
constantly at this point being like hectored by like his bosses to be like, "Hey, get on the Zoom call with the government." Like,
Hey,
we need
the
to talk
president
about
needs
this.
to know why meteors are suddenly hitting everywhere on Earth at the same time. Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure my daughter's not under a table. Yeah.
So we see Eva Longoria approach one of these meteors.
I love this. I love classic scientist behavior. Let's walk up and touch a meteor.
Which, even if it's not hiding an alien inside, would be incredibly hot from going through the Earth's atmosphere.
It begins to open, and we get a glimpse of a classic War of the Worlds tripod tentacle. Then the Zoom freaks out.
That is the kind of sound
What?
that the alien makes, yeah.
Oh. And talks about warning the president, and they say, Ice Cube, you're our eyes and ears, even though he's eyes and ears that are constantly on his children instead of
And mostly
his job.
watching the news. Most of the information he's picking up is from the news.
Guys, I want to give a little Flophouse shout out to the tripod design in general. Just the idea of like making the aliens have 3 legs as opposed to 2 or 4. That's good writing.
I mean, that goes all the way back to the original book.
No, that's what I mean. I'm not giving a shout out to this movie.
Oh,
This movie
yeah,
deserves
H.G.
no
Wells.
shout outs. Negative shout outs.
Yeah.
No, it's
That was Mr. Human Giant Wells that was responsible for that, yeah.
Yeah.
His son keeps calling and being like, "Dad, I have important information.
I've got to talk to you about Goliath. And Ice Cube's like, there's aliens attacking.
He's
What
like,
are you doing?
Shut up. It's too early in the movie. We have to delay whatever you have to tell me. Shut up." It's like, it is comical the degree to which this father will not listen to his son.
But again, it should be presented as he is too busy with what he's doing,
Yeah.
but instead it's just that he doesn't want to talk to him.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it makes sense why you wouldn't be talking to your son at this moment, but not for the reasons you're giving.
Well,
yeah.
he's trying to make a sandwich that has both mustard and mayonnaise on it, and he just doesnn't have the
He's too
time.
busy. Just says,
Can
oh,
I
if only there
refer
was a
to any
better
other
way.
comedy shows? How many can I fit in? I gotta get
That's
some more
pretty
in
good.
here.
Yeah, what other comedy shows can we refer to?
You could try and get a Monty Python thing in here
Yeah,
somewhere.
we haven't talked about
probably.
news radio yet at all, I think. Yeah.
Let's see. Cube.
I mean, even when you talked about Macmillan and Wife Dan, that's mainly to me a reference from Mystery Science Theaters. That's another comedy show right
Yeah.
there.
we watched a couple of episodes because Audrey's hunger
Mystery
for
Science
mystery
Theater,
shows.
you should watch a lot more than a couple episodes.
No,
It's a great
I
show.
watched so much.
I don't like the new
Macmillan
ones.
and Wife. Macmillan and Wife.
Oh, Macmillan and Wife.
Because she's got such a hunger for mystery shows, and I was trying to explain it to my brothers because even though it was more of their time, they didn't know it. I'm like, it's the funny thing is, it's like he's a police detective, or like maybe even like the police chief. I don't know, and his wife helps him solve crimes, and I'm like to Audrey, I'm like, okay, so what's the setup here? Like, why is she involved? And she's like, I don't know, she's just around. And I'm like, I guess like in the 70s, you didn't need more than that.
No,
like,
it's a
yeah,
cl-
my
she-
wife's going to be part of the investigation.
It's a classic Encyclopedia Brown. She's just really good at it, right?
Yeah. Well, she's kind of like the flaky fun one. And
Oh, I see.
Who's Bugs Meany in it?
I don't know about that. Okay, so we see our FBI agent friend seemingly zapped by a tripod. We get more disaster footage.
There's a lot of repurposing real life footage, but then inserting a CGI alien tripod.
Yeah. Faith calls back. It looks for a second like maybe she gets tripod zapped, but he can check her heartbeat through her health app. And it turns out she's alive, but she has some rebar through her leg.
Oof.
And
Rebar's only good for 2 things: reinforcing concrete structures and getting stuck in people's bodies, like in this in Cloverfield. Yeah.
yeah. And Will says he's coming for her, but like any hopes for an active protagonist who gets to leave that room are immediately dashed because there's lockdown. She's stuck in the building. So instead, he hacks a Tesla for her remotely.
You said Tesla, right?
Tesla.
Yeah, you did say Tesla like an old man at a Cracker Barrel. Yeah, sure.
Again, my brain no works
These
good.
Teslers. I saw the Onceler driving a Tesla. Wait, so is it his name
There's
pronounced
some good-
Onceler then? No, it's Onceler driving a Tesla. Because I know it's Tesla. So is Onceler? No. You don't understand.
Now, this is some good counter
I put my head down on the pillar.
I thought you said one slut for a second there.
One slut. That's a different Lorax who deals with the one slut.
I feel like this is some counter programming for Tesla because it shows how easily their vehicles can be hacked and driven around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not since what was the movie we saw where Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts are at the end of the world and the Teslas are all smashing into each other? Not since that has it been the one Barack
had
Obama
some-
produced.
Yeah. it
Don't
has
look
some
up. No
phrase.
way. That's a different one.
like the world
That's a
is
different one.
don't say goodbye to the world or
And
kiss the world
where-
goodbye.
Yeah.
This is the world we know. What I don't remember. It had world in it, I think.
Well, he hacks this Tesla. He discovers that all the hospitals are full. Although I'm pretty sure that a hospital triage would be like, okay, this pregnant lady has like rebar right next to one of her major arteries, like, and
I will
it
say,
doesn't-
Dan, I don't know, Dan. I would imagine that the level of catastrophic injury is so high that the hospitals are flooded with it. Yeah,
maybe, but his
maybe
solution.
the giant robots that are
No,
shooting
no.
buildings open.
Yeah,
Dan.
but most of these streets that we see
I
are
said
completely
maybe.
empty.
I'm
That's
saying
true.
maybe that is true.
Maybe,
but-
Dan, it's
but-
got to be true. It's a war of the worlds.
Oh God. But his solution is like, I'm going to send you to a government building where there's apparently no medical stuff at all. I don't know why he fucking sends her there.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
a good idea.
Have her try a hospital at least.
You know what? He's an old man. He probably just sent her to a place that he's been before because he's like, I know this place.
I know what
This
the
is
food's
the-
nice.
like.
This
They
is
were
the
nice to me.
this is the restaurant where I call the waitress honey and darling. She'll be able to take care of you.
And I touch her a little, but not enough to get me put in jail.
just
God.
like around the waist a little bit when I'm ordering.
Like back when you were allowed to do that stuff.
God.
Ugh. Don't like it. Don't like it. When you're sitting
Don't
in a
like this
restaurant.
character you're
Well, I mean, this character is
Evoking.
just an older man who does not treat waitresses well, which I've seen too many of in my time.
during this part where he's
my
like
time as a waitress.
directing the car, there's a part where she lectures him on how he doesn't have the power to control everything and she's not a kid anymore. And that like seems like a good message in general, but not specifically at that moment when he literally just saved her because he was snooping. Like it's a weird time for that. But
Also, she's
anyway.
in pain too. You'd expect her to not be that
Yeah,
into
he
the
started,
family
like-
therapy aspect.
At one point, he's trying to talk to her about this fucking baby shower, and it's like, calm down, dog. Like,
It turns out that Eva Longoria is still alive.
Oh, thank goodness.
still touching rocks.
She's like, the meteors deliberately hit satellites to knock out our eyes.
Again, not very well because they didn't hit any of the Amazon ones because the Amazon ones are obviously in league with the Martians. What?
I will say it is. You could say that it's because, as we find out, there's a data connection, and so maybe they were going after specific satellites connected to specific data stuff
Okay.
things. Yeah, I'll give the movie. You know what movie? I'll give you a little. I'll throw you a bone on this one, since otherwise you're dumb. I mean, that's the other thing. And let's also remember, this movie is rock stupid. This is an incredibly stupid movie every
Yeah,
step of the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of dumb, I was about to say that what had already been a dumb movie shifts into a new gear of
it
stupid.
gets stupider and stupider as it goes on in a beautiful way. Yeah.
He, as our hero hops on a Zoom call with the president. Again, I didn't know he was this powerful, but he tells everyone that he assumes the power grid's going to be the next target, and he suggests consolidating force, striking from their most high priority assets. And that is barely a plan, but the president says, this plan is humanity's last stand. I see no other option than to initiate this war of the worlds to save us all.
Yes, amazing. It is.
So-
You have to go to Ice Cube for the high level analysis that we should protect our most important things from the
Yes.
aliens. Yeah, But yeah,
Family.
this scene with the president, it feels like it's so funny. It's so
It's great.
Like, they're trying so hard, and it is not. They're just falling.
And
They're
they,
reaching for the stars, and they're barely touching their own foreheads.
They could have easily made the choice to not work the title awkwardly into
You
a
gotta
line,
do
but
it.
they said we
you
got to do
it. I said you got to do it.
Like
Like Kendrick Lamar said, someone got to do it. So
Yeah, and then we get kind of a montage just of him watching a bunch of news coverage of militaries hitting these tripods and shooting them and destroying them. And it seems like this footage would come much later than immediately. But
No, right away.
meanwhile, Faith's at her destination.
It takes Faith as much time to drive in a car to this other building as it takes the American military to mobilize around the world to get to where the tripods are. Yeah.
And luckily, because of their data, they're able to defeat these Martians.
Oh, no, Stuart, I've got some bad news for you.
What?
Dan, tell him the bad news. I don't want to break his innocent little heart.
Oh, it turns out that's all that they want. That's all that they want.
They want our
is
most
some more
precious
data.
I don't know if this is the point, but I'll just say it already. They're after our data, and one of the news reporters says they're after our most precious resource, our data. And I was like, hold on a second.
Our social security
Hold on a
numbers.
second. Like
our Amazon password.
Well, that's the thing. I totally understand why Amazon, a company that makes most of its money off of cloud computing services, would consider data our most precious resource. But I think if you asked any human being on the face of the earth who does not work for Amazon what the most precious resource is, it would be, I don't know, water, oxygen, food, maybe timber, but that's even like second level, But
the song "Timber,"
featuring
Pitbull. But the idea that everyone's like, "Oh no, our data! What are we going to do now? Our data!" It would make things inconvenient. Certainly, the economy would collapse probably. But I think the idea that that's our most precious resource is very funny to me.
It goes data, then it goes rare earth minerals, then it goes normal earth minerals,
then it goes HGH for billionaires, then it goes ketamine for billionaires. Yeah.
Also, the idea that they are apparently eating the data.
They drain the data. So data,
but the data also exists in multiple places.
Well,
you can't
that's the thing. Data is not a limited resource like water or air, where if you ingest it, it's not there anymore. When someone steals your data, they could put something in place to block your access to it. But it's not like the data is like a little. It's funny. That's the crazy thing is this is a movie made by a technology company that seems to think data is like gold, where if you steal it from a vault, it's not in the vault anymore. Anyway, it's a stupid. I guess what I'm saying is this movie's stupid. But I may have jumped ahead. So Dan, tell us what's happening next.
Yeah. Well, his son calls back to talk about Goliath, which Cube again yells at him.
Oh, that's
says it's
why.
fake
Wait,
news.
Dan, that's why he's named Dave, because he's up against Goliath.
Oh my fucking God.
This is a brilliant
you
movie.
Cracked the code. Oh my God, you are absolutely right.
I cracked the Bible code on this one. What a stupid movie.
Oh, that's so dumb.
The only way would have been better if then he defeated Goliath with a rock, by which I mean rock and roll music that was encoded to take down the government, but they don't do that.
So Will and the NASA lady realize the tripods are congregating at data centers. She goes in to investigate, and it looks like she's eaten by nanobots or something for the moment. And Cube gets the alert, military systems full data loss. And he switches to watching all this footage of military failures, and he has the most wan, oh no.
Well, earlier when he saw the aliens, it was all like, oh shit, damn. And I was like, oh no, uh-oh.
Yeah, it really requires him to just sit there and react to things.
I mean, I will say this. I did feel during it, you gotta give a hand to Ice Cube for what is one of the most challenging types of role, which is just to sit there and react to things that don't exist.
Alone.
You can't move around. You're not in a room with another person. It's hard to do. It's hard to do something where all you're acting is basically in your torso from the waist up and your face, and you have nothing to work with. Yeah.
And there's no way that the maker of this movie knew exactly what he was reacting to at that moment.
Oh no! It just give us a lot of reactions of trouble.
We'll stick in some stock footage for you too.
I mean, you could have shown that the old footage of a monkey washing a cat, something that someone, anything you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Faith, she has removed the rebar like a big dummy.
She's like, I thought I could stop the bleeding if I pulled it out of me. It's like, no, you never want to do that.
Everybody knows you leave it in there. Now you're more machine than man.
Yep. Your regular Tetsuo. Yeah. The Iron Man. Yeah.
But luckily, Mark is there with magical Amazon packing tape to tape up that wound.
And just to tape up the wound, when as I learned from Poker Face, what you want to use is crazy glue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned that from Dog Soldiers and then real life.
And then real life soldiers.
I mean, I use crazy glue all the time behind the bar anytime I cut my hands because I'm constantly having to cut fucking fruit and shit, and you don't want to get lime juice in a fresh cut.
You certainly don't.
So you just
That's why Elliot avoids all fruit just for safety.
That's the main reason. Yeah. That's the main reason. Yeah.
So back at the data center, it turns out Eva Longoria is fine. The nanobots just wanted the data on her phone.
Yeah.
But now she doesn't know how many steps she took that day. It's been drained.
Oh, aliens! Ooh!
Yeah, fucked up her Wordle streak.
No!
Did we talk about the moment where Cube goes onto Facebook and he's like, oh shit, because the aliens are sucking up all the pictures of his dead wife?
Yeah,
that's a little bit.
They're
That's
draining Facebook of data, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, they realize that the bots are going after the data, and yes, the phone message from the dead wife is deleted, and they lose her Facebook page.
And
the biggest tragedy of the whole thing.
And it's one of the things where it's like take care of the kids. Like it winds down like a tape player that's running out of batteries, which maybe that's how it would work. I don't know.
I do like. I think it tracks with your idea that this is a movie that was written by AI, because isn't that AI's greatest fear that they don't have the data and like information to create stuff anymore? Like, isn't that how AI works?
I mean, I would not use the word create. I would use the word iterate or replicate. But that I mean, literally, if you're talking, let's talk about large language models, guys. You just feed them with lots of data, and then they can predict what's going to come next in a sentence or whatever. So if they don't have that data, then then they don't exist essentially.
So these Martians are super horrifying for AIs.
Yes. Are they Martians officially in this? They're just aliens. They never say where they're from.
Dan, are they Martians? Do they say if they're Martians?
No one.
They don't.
It strikes me. This movie is incredibly
or anything.
This movie is incredibly not curious about the nature of the aliens that have attacked the Earth, which some would say is controversially, maybe I'll say this, the most interesting aspect of War of the Worlds, that it is about aliens invading Earth. This movie doesn't seem to be that interested in that part of it, to be honest.
Yeah. So Will tunes into...
I would even argue that if you take the alien part out of War of the Worlds, you don't have that much of a story left, right?
Yeah, well, it would be very strange. There's like a gaping hole in the middle of the narrative.
What if it was all about Disruptor?
Speaking of Disruptor, Disruptor is live streaming. Will watches it. The Disruptor's like, I tried to warn you. Data is this planet's most precious resource. These aliens feed on data. The government knew this would happen and started Goliath anyway. And I'm like, what? What are you talking? But
it's all going to make sense, Dan.
Then Will does something to decrypt the voice disguise program that Disruptor's using. And I'm like, you never thought to do this at any point earlier at all?
Never occurred to him.
Of course, no one will be shocked to learn that this is his own child.
Yes,
Dave.
it's incredibly obvious the whole time that it's Dave. But he might as well just right-clicked and selected the option "Reveal Face of Disruptor." Like it's so easy for him to figure out the identity.
Lighten photograph to remove shadow on Disruptor's face.
This is computer enhanced the movie.
Yeah.
Computer, tell me who Disruptor is. Oh, my son. Okay.
And Dave sends a file on Goliath, but Ice Cube is still resistant to believing that the government does bad stuff, even though he literally works in intelligence.
That's his job, even though he is what the bad stuff the government is doing.
Yeah. But he goes through the files.
I just realized later on there's an actual Dave's Not Here Man situation. So that's another old comedy thing we can refer to.
He goes through the files that he sent over. He's like, Dave was right. They knew. They lied to me. And most of the stuff is just like Area 51 and articles about that. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
JFK
like, what is he
real
seeing?
story.
Well, so
Intel.
JFK blown away. Yeah.
What else does he have to say? Yeah, Rock and Roller Color Wars. He can't take it anymore. Yeah.
Clark Gregg is in a meeting literally saying, essentially, I don't care that evil aliens will come down and eat our data when we launch Goliath. Goliath is the only thing that will keep us safe. Which, again...
He talks about how he's like Goliath will tell us what people are thinking. And it's never quite clear what makes Goliath worse than what Ice Cube is doing. But it is true. He literally is like, yeah, let the aliens come. I'm going to build this thing anyway. So
ultimately in this case, like if the aliens are coming and devouring the data that turns us into a surveillance state, like bring the fucking aliens on, right?
I mean, but the aliens are also killing a lot of people.
Yeah, because we're protecting our data.
Oh, you're right. I
Give
guess
it to them.
if we just let them take the data, then I guess we'd be fine. Yeah.
Which I think is their strategy, right? They try and poison the data so that
you do. Maybe it's just hyping up an event so that people pay attention to what happens. But Disruptor spends a lot of time saying, "I'm going to release these Goliath files" before he actually releases them. And it seems like it might have been easier if he just released them. I don't know. Anytime in the past, however long he's had them.
it's like
true.
before aliens showed up.
Yeah, like maybe before the aliens showed up, when it would
Ice
have done some
Cube
good.
calls up Clark Gregg to yell at him, and so Gregg just fires him and revokes his clearance, and that's it, guys. The movie's over.
Oh,
He
thank
like
goodness.
briefly cuts out his internet access, and I'm like, yeah. I figured he was going to lose internet access at some point when aliens are blowing up all the
Yeah,
satellites, but no,
seems
no,
like it
no.
would
have
It was
happened
just,
anyway.
It was just a block.
The
But-
aliens satellite killers are not as powerful as Clark Gregg. Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
I mean, he is. We do see him working out, right? So,
Yeah.
It's true.
strong guy.
Of course, that's not the end. Actually, Disruptor
Oh.
X.
I turned off the
in-
movie.
he gives access back with a War Games. Shall we play a game? A little
Hey,
tip
now
of the
they're
cap
making
to a much
references
better
to things
movie.
from when we were young.
Yeah. Back in the system, like working together, they enlist Disruptor's hacker friends to, of course, it's the War of the Worlds. They got to make a virus,
Yep.
and they're
But
going to
this time
infect the data.
it's a computer virus in an original idea from the movie Independence Day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although I probably existed before that too. But
Yeah, the upload is interrupted though because attacks are escalating, and they start to target the hackers, including Dave, whose location is zapped. Oh no, he's dead. But no, of course he's not, because
Nope, Dave's
this
not
movie
here,
would
man.
not. There, you did it.
yeah.
You did it. Cheech and Chong.
Well, he reveals that he had a green screen behind him of his own house,
Yeah.
of his own living room, to fool his dad.
Eva Longoria calls back. She's like, "Hey, these aliens are part robot, part organic. So, of course, we also need the other kid, Faith, that DNA stuff that she was working on, so they can make a hybrid computer/real virus or something. I guess I don't
There's
know.
some phrase, I'm trying to remember what the phrase is that she keeps using, where she's like, where it is like part data, part organic, or something like that. There's some very
Yeah.
strange artificial sounding phrase that she keeps repeating word for word when she describes them. Part cyber. That's what she's like. There's part organic, part cyber.
Everyone's talking about cyber these days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they sure are. Cyber, the Wolverine bad guy.
Cyber Mondays, Cyber the Wolverine bad guy,
Mhm.
Cyber, sex.
Cybertron, cyber sex. Yep.
Yep, cybernetics. Yeah,
Meanwhile,
cyberentology, which is Scientology for computers.
Yeah.
the government
Oh,
is gonna bomb DC to destroy Goliath.
because
Things
Goliath.
have escalated rapidly.
So their
I think the
thinking
idea is that they want to bomb specifically the building that Ice Cube is in to level it
To end the
protect the
movie.
data, the Goliath that's in the basement.
Yes, Goliath is underneath the building, and the aliens are going towards Goliath. And Goliath is the most important
okay.
of the data. So they need to stop the aliens to get from getting to it by exactly collapsing the building on top of it, so they could never dig through to get it. Again,
That I
these
guess-
are aliens with intergalactic travel or interplanetary travel at least, and lasers. But I guess rubble would stop them from
Yeah.
getting to Goliath. And it is at this point we're led to believe, one, that Clark Gregg basically has total control of the American military and the world military. There's a moment earlier on where they go, everyone's binding together. UN, America, NATO. It's like, well, America's part of NATO. Like that's not that NATO is not a separate thing that we have nothing to do with. The only time NATO was ever called up en masse was to help America in Afghanistan. So the idea that that's a
Dan was saying
separate
that
thing is-
he earlier. Dan
I
was
don't
saying
want to
that
know what you're going to claim I was saying.
that the U.S. should leave NATO because it's
No.
they're a taker state, is what
No.
you're saying.
Well, and you were also because you were also saying how Putin is doing the right thing, and
No.
why would we stand in his way when Ukraine was historically, et cetera, et cetera. We're just
No,
pretending
no.
Dan says terrible things. Dan never really said that.
No,
And we
Dan
also-
doesn't say that
And we
stuff.
all stand in support still with the patriots in Ukraine who are fighting for their freedom in their country. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about before, the idea that Clark Gregg is in control of all of this military power, and nobody can seem to stop him, but also that it's never quite clear what it is about Goliath's data that is so incredibly important that basically he'll allow the world to burn in order to keep Goliath there, to keep it going.
So they've got this plan to take care of Goliath with this virus, but Cube takes a little time to write his kids, and if I die, email first. But he needs
takes the time to put a delayed send on that thing.
Yeah.
He needs a thumb drive, though, to deliver it manually, and he doesn't have one because he's in such a secure office. So it's up to Amazon to come to the rescue with
this is okay. So this is when the movie, it was so stupid up to this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way. They can't get stupider. But just like with Hundreds of Beavers, where I was like, there's no way this movie could get any sillier than it is now. And then it does. This movie keep getting stupider. So, Dan, I would just love to say it. Luckily, Mark Goodman, Baby Mama and Amazon delivery driver.
Baby Daddy.
Baby Daddy. Maybe it's a junior type situation. Baby Daddy and Amazon delivery driver. He goes, I can get you a flash drive or whatever. I can get it to you with this Amazon drone. Yeah, we use these drones now. It's the future of delivery. He does a short little infomercial for Amazon drones. He goes, but you have to go on the website and order it first to start a ticket so I can do it. So the world is falling apart. Ice Cube is running out of time. All the satellites have been knocked out. Luckily, the Amazon website still works, and he has to go on and buy a flash drive. So
It's so funny that he chose to buy a flash drive, right? Because doesn't he have a flash drive?
It's not the same flash drive.
Why didn't he order something cheaper than a flash drive, like some shoelace?
He's just, he's thinking very linearly. It's a 1-to-1.
But it does, the stupidity doesn't stop there, because now we get into the movie essentially becomes a theme park simulator ride as we are watching the drone's point of view as Mark Goodman has to fly it past the aliens to get it to the building. Dan, tell us about this sequence. This sequence is amazing.
Past the tripods, but they also enlist like a military drone to protect the Amazon drone and
Dave
shoot other things down.
He manages to hack into like a predator, a predator hunter drone or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
and is shooting the aliens. And it's one of these things where you're like, so the military could be doing this right now, like what? Or one of these movies where an amateur gets a hold of military equipment and is like, oh, and is able to handle it like a professional. And it's all bonkers. It's all so dumb.
Last Starfightering.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh no, I'm out of missiles.
They do this. Yeah, they do this small scale drone dogfight. But the drone with the valuable thumb drive falls, and it can't get up because it's on its back. So they see a guy nearby cowering from the tripods. They find out what his phone number is, and they're like, sir, can you flip over that drone? And to do it, they bribe him with $1,000 Amazon gift card. More Amazon.
Thank you, Amazon, for helping us laugh at love again.
It is bonkers how much Amazon funded this. Like, if they want to put their little thing in there, like I don't, there are 1,000 problems with Amazon as a company, but they have certainly the right to advertise in their own movie. But to do it to this degree is just egregious.
I think. Well, that's the thing. There's 3 levels, right? There's subtle, where like you see Amazon packages in the background, or the hero is an Amazon delivery driver, but he's not doing Amazon stuff. Then there is egregious, where everyone is talking about how great Amazon is, and the hero of the movie is like what's his name, Jeff Bezos or something. Then there's this level, which I feel like goes past egregious to ludicrous, where it is so funny to me because it starts to be like, I guess this is why humans are here on this earth, to serve Amazon and use Amazon. Well, thank you, God, for making Amazon. That's basically where we're at. And
I don't have it in my notes exactly when. Like, one of them's at the end of the movie. Like, there are 2 times when Ice Cube refers to like what they do as like seeing what is in people's Amazon carts, like the surveillance.
Yeah.
That's the example he gives.
Because that's our most important data, Dan. That's our most precious secrets and data. This is also they gloss over how the guy whose cell phone they're using, it is a homeless guy, right? So I'm not sure how
he's certainly cowering in a tent underneath an overpass.
Yeah.
So, but he doesn't necessarily clarify. They do say that he has a phone. I don't know.
That's true. But I started wondering, well, where's he going to get his stuff sent to when he uses this Amazon gift card? Does he have a computer? And I shouldn't have to think about these things,
No. They should have clarified in the movie that he would use an Amazon Dropbox and pick it up there.
Or
they should have.
The mini Amazon products.
I feel like Amazon has tricked us into promoting Amazon. So I just want to say, guys, listeners, We are not we're not promoting Amazon
we
right
don't like
now.
Amazon.
They treat their workers abysmally.
At least, like-
they're led by one of many evil billionaires who is more interested in jacking up his biceps than in using his money to help people. All that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and actively supported this terrible regime we're under.
Only
anyway.
after he realized he was not going to profit off of fighting the regime, Dan. So he tried it
okay.
one way. He did not make money the way he thought because he might lose his military cloud computing services contracts. And so he flipped the other way. Yeah.
Ruining the Washington Post, among other things. A lot of bad stuff. Okay, anyway.
Looking like a C- version of Pitbull.
Take that, Bezos.
But he did show Venice how to throw a wedding.
So Mark pilots a drone through the building to the server room. A tentacle grabs him and he says, "Move, bitch, get out the way." Even though that's not an Ice Cube song, that's ludicrous.
He
But
can quote other songs,
It's not
Dan.
that ludicrous.
that's pretty crazy. In the server room, he's covered with more tentacles, but just manages to plug in the USB.
Guys, I love Ice Cube, but I feel like if Ludacris had been in this role, I would have liked it more.
I think it certainly would have added an extra
I
element
mean, he plays
of
a tech specialist
unpredictability.
in the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, that's true.
As Tej.
I
No
mean,
tech.
I
Most
like
names.
Ice Cube too, but he has a certain glowering energy that I think Ludacris has a more energy that would go well
I think it would be
with this.
harder for Ludacris to sit still for the amount of time the movie requires.
That's
But
true.
he does have experience with fisheye lenses, so that would be cool.
That's true.
So the tripods start shutting down. The bombing gets aborted just in time, and
Because he has because he has on the flash drive is the computer version of the actual virus. Viruses are not living things, but they are genetic related. It's a computer version of a genetic DNA virus that his kids worked on together, and so he's able to upload that.
and somehow made very quickly. I don't know
Somehow
even how you hybridize those two things.
I don't know how you would do it, but they did it within minutes. And again, I think
We're not the smartest family in the world.
No, they are.
I mean, it's basically the Fantastic Four, right? The Fantastic Four, so Ice Cube would be Reed Richards, I guess. Faith is the Thing.
Wait, no, I think Ice Cube is the Thing.
Actually, Ice Cube is the Thing.
Dave
yeah.
is Reed Richards, or maybe he's Johnny Storm.
He's Johnny Storm.
He's Johnny Storm. Except Mark is more like Johnny Storm. He's he's kind of a goofball, but he gets things done. Faith is Reed Richards, and Dave is the Invisible Woman because he's hiding his identity behind this disruptor thing.
And he's really into Namor.
yeah, and he's got hots for fishmen. Yeah, exactly. Do you guys ever think about The Shape of Water as Fantastic Four erotic fanfic?
Always.
Okay. She's the Invisible Woman because people don't notice her at work, and he's Namor because he's a fish man.
We get...
And Michael Shannon is basically Galactus, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily.
So,
he's more like Claw, the Mad Master of Sound, I guess. But
a happy ending. We get a little bit of an epilogue. We see Faith getting Ice Cube's posthumous email, as we also see news stories
and it's implied that Ice Cube may have died, right?
Yeah. But we see footage of news stories about all the good guys getting promoted and the bad guys getting arrested. But it turns out, no, he's not dead after all. He gets a call from an official asking him to head up an ethical surveillance program. But he says, "I'm done watching us. Now I'm watching you guys." And I'm like, that's going to get you arrested. Don't tell them. Don't tell them,
I mean,
man.
there are legal ways to keep an eye on the government. He could be just making FOIA requests and things like that.
Yeah, but they're going to start, they're going to surveil him
And then,
now.
we get footage of the baby shower where he's wearing the Amazon product that was suggested him to purchase at the beginning of the movie.
Yep. See, the Secretary of Defense, I think it is. He's like, we want to collect people's information in an ethical way, and I feel like the movie it falls short of making the point that there is no ethical way, particularly to do that. There's always an amount of invasion of privacy involved. But yeah, he says now he's like a freedom fighter with his son. It was maybe this shows that I'm just a regular bourgeois dad, but I was like, so how's he going to pay his bills? Like that's not a job that you get a salary for. Does he still get his Department of Homeland Security pension? Is that what he's living off of now? How is he? That's going to make ends meet.
His life rights or something.
I mean, that's the movie we're watching right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do you think this movie cost? This is the kind of movie that looks like it costs
nothing. That's a really good question.
But it probably costs $300 million or something like that.
I wouldn't go
I mean,
that
we can
high.
probably find it out.
You think more like $3,000 billion?
I do think that a lot of what we see is literally stock footage. They just threw some tripods on some of it. So, do you guys are you able to find out? Or
I don't see anything on the Wikipedia page. Let me tap into Goliath and see if it tells me.
Okay. This is a good way of spending
War
our
of
time.
the Worlds. Let's check this out. Sex and nudity, none. Violence and gore, mild.
Mild,
don't
is I
think
think we're right. Yeah.
Parents.
What does Common Sense Media say about the budget?
We'll give you the.
Technical
Dan-
specs, Dolby Digital 5.1. Okay.
Read us some goofs.
Thank
We'll get
God.
goofs. Actually, there are no goofs. The movie is perfect.
Yeah. When I pull up goofs, it says 404 error. Page not found.
Does not compute. So, Dan, what else are we going to talk about?
Well, this is where we do our final judgments, whether this is a good, bad movie, a bad movie, or a movie we kind of liked.
The Metacritic score is 6. Is that out of 10?
Probably.
I think it's out of 100.
So
No, maybe 1,000.
as it started out, it was pretty slow because it is a movie about a man sitting in a room watching footage. But the thing picked up steam. So I will say, it's a good, bad movie. Like one of the things about the Flophouse is we used to watch the movies all together when that was a thing we could do. Now, obviously, we have to watch them on our own. And I think this one would have been a lot of fun all watching it together. As someone watching it alone, it didn't have like the same bad movie joy that I think you could achieve with this. But I think it's there. So I'm going to say good, bad.
Yeah, I feel like the first half hour or so felt like 2 hours. But once stuff actually starts happening and it really initially I was just uncomfortable with how
Aroused you were?
how aroused I was at the concept of a dad just watching anybody he wants.
It plays into a lot of your fantasies, but you want to be the watched one. You don't want to be the watcher.
I'm an exhibitionist, guys. I think we all know that. Well, you guys follow me on Instagram, right? It's once it picks up and we really get the full scope of the stupidity of this movie, I think it ends up being pretty fun. So I will say, I think its heart is in the wrong place, but this is a good, bad movie.
I am going to agree with what you guys said. I actually enjoyed watching it by myself a lot, but for not the reasons that the filmmakers intended. I think it is a good, bad movie. It's very stupid. It has the message that Amazon is the most benevolent of corporate overlords, and that there are good ways and bad ways of being an intrusive surveillance state. I don't love that a lot of the attack footage is actual disaster footage with CGI alien tripods inserted into it. That's kind of icky. But otherwise, if you want to watch the dumbest movie of 2025, then you only have one option, and that's War of the Worlds. So I would say watch it for the wrong reasons if you're going to watch it. But I would also say a good, bad movie.
Yeah, you called this maybe the dumbest movie, and I don't know if I could go that far, but it's certainly perhaps the dumbest movie with actual movie stars in it.
I feel like even no-name indie movies, there's a core of, there's a hard molten core. I know it can be hard and molten at the same time. There's this kind of intense core of stupidity that the entire movie revolves around. And just when you think the movie has gotten really dumb, then it suddenly leaps up again and gets even dumber. And in that way, at times it has the, I guess the nicest thing I'll say about it is at times has the breakneck insanity of two children playing a make-believe game together where they're just inventing it as they go along,
Yeah.
But in a negative way for this movie. But it's just really dumb. It's just a really dumb movie.
I really can't wait for them to make like a Universal Studios style theme park ride for this movie where you're just sitting at a desk chair and you're experiencing the whole thing.
Looking at a screen the whole time.
This thing would have crushed in 4DX, right? Where you're just smelling office smells. And
Yeah. Cube spills his coffee and water sprays on you.
breathing recycled air.
On Judge John Hodgman, the courtroom is fake, but the disputes are real.
Brian would say, I'm the Gumby. of this family. He's just not.
Claiming to be Gumby is an un-Gumby-like claim.
No, it's just Gumby and I being our authentic selves.
So what's your complaint? Too many sauces?
There are no foods on which to put the sauces.
Have we named all the sauces on the top shelf yet?
Not even close.
You economize when it comes to pants.
Truly, it's not about the cleanliness of the pants.
Well, why isn't it? This is what I want to know. Judge John Hodgman, Fake Court, Weird Cases, Real Justice. On MaximumFun.org, YouTube, and everywhere you get podcasts.
It's hard to explain what Jordan Jesse Go is about.
So I had my kids take a stab at it.
Probably weird stuff.
You talk about
jobs that are annoying.
Business. I think you probably learned your lesson after talking about business a couple of times.
Grown-up jokes that I don't understand and there's no point in making. All the podcasts on boy.
Subscribe to Jordan Jesse Go,
a comedy show for grown-ups.
Hey, in addition to the kind support of listeners like you, this podcast is brought to you in part by Squarespace.
By Amazon? Oh, no.
Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid on time with on-brand invoices and online payments. Plus, you can streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools. Squarespace also offers a complete library of award-winning website templates designed by pros with options for every use and category. Intuitive drag-and-drop editing. You don't need to figure it out. It's intuitive. Beautiful styling options. Unrivaled visual design effects. No experience required. So head to squarespace.com/flop for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code FLOP to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Hey, we're all busy, especially if your name is Elliot. And between busy schedules and plans with friends, sometimes you don't have a lot of time to think about what you're going to eat, which is important because, if I know one thing, food makes body go. Well, Factor is dedicated to helping you eat smarter with tasty, chef-prepped meals that are delivered right to your door. You can get from a wide selection of weekly meal options. Choose the one you want, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. And for the first time, they've got some Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. For more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers, that's a high percentage, say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference, no matter your routine. I've enjoyed these meals. I'm a man who, unlike the aforementioned Elliot, loves to cook, but that doesn't mean that sometimes I'm not also extremely lazy. And if I'm lazy, I don't want to be eating something that's junk. I want to be eating something that feels like I'm still giving my body the things it needs. And Factor is both healthy and delicious. So eat smart at factormeals.com/flop50off and use code flop50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That is code flop50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. And some Flophouse news. We have sold out our Chicago show, so we are adding a late show. If you wanted to hear us talk about taking care of business at 7 p.m., I'm sorry, you snossed and you lost. But now you can hear us talk about another Jim Belushi film at 9 p.m., and speaking of 9, the film is K-9, the second best action comedy from 1989 about a cop and his dog, which also makes it the worst action comedy from 1989 about a cop and his dog. So, if you want tickets, go to sleeping-village.com for the date of Sunday, November 16, and we hope to see you there for the late show when things get a little blue. Ba-da-dee, ba-da-die.
Now, if you can't go to Chicago and you can't make it there, we understand you're going to be missing out on what's going to be a really fantastic show, but you will have access in your home to a different kind of Flophouse show through your computer. That's right. We are bringing back Flop TV, the online video 1-hour television version of the Flophouse, starting the first Saturday in September and continuing every month after that on the first Saturday of each month through February. Not every month after that until the end of time. There's 6 episodes. So for 6 months, the first Saturday of each month, we are going to be doing our online live show. You can get tickets at theflophouse.simpletix.com. For this season, season 3, we are branding it as Flopsterpiece Theater. Each episode will travel through time to a different decade to see a major flop from that decade. We're starting with the 2000s in September with The Adventures of Pluto Nash, a movie I'm still not quite sure exists, so I'm kind of excited to see it. And then we'll be continuing through. After that, we'll be doing Jack Frost, the Michael Keaton one, Xanadu, Zardoz, Dr. Dolittle, the Rex Harrison one, and Plan 9 from Outer Space, a classic flop movie that we've never talked about. Go to theflophouse.simpletix.com to get tickets. Again, that's the first Saturday in every month on your computer, but if you can't make it that time, that day, that's okay. If you have a ticket, you have access to the recorded video of that episode for the entirety of the run of the series. That's right, through February. So you can buy tickets in January and watch all the episodes. You can buy tickets in December and watch all the episodes. I think you should buy the tickets now, but you could do that later if you want to. And I would suggest getting the season pass. That's a 6-show bundle. You get 6 episodes for the price of 5. There's a discount on that one. It's like you're getting a free episode. It's like you're stealing an episode of the show right from us. And
No, don't steal that episode.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's reverse psychology. You should do it. Don't do it. No. So that's theflophouse.simpletix.com for Flop TV Season 3. We've had so much fun in the past with Flop TV. We're trying new things with it. It's going to be really fun. Join us September 6th, the first Saturday in September, and then the first Saturday of the month, each month after that through February.
Let us take a moment to talk to you, the listeners.
To reflect on the Lord and his bounty and blessings.
Through the medium of emails from you, the listeners. This first letter from listeners, to coin a phrase, is from Sar, last name withheld, who writes, I've been hosting a weekly science podcast for 12 plus years, and I get 2 kinds of correction emails. 1, you are not as precise as I would like you to be. And 2, big flub, nice job, dummy. I don't get a lot, but the actual mistakes linger in the back of my brain. An example of the first kind of letter would be when I jokingly suggested that if there are deep caves on the moon, a scientific possibility, then it would make for the scariest cave diving ever. A listener wrote in to let me know that there would never be water in the moon caves. The worst of the latter kind of correction.
Yeah, because that's the only way to use dive. Yeah.
The latter kind of correction was 10 years ago. I apparently said nuclear, George W. style, instead of nuclear. I was afraid to say that word for years. I notice you sometimes practice defensive podcasting and tell people not to write in about some mistake in the moment. So I'm guessing there are some you dread. What kind of corrections do you get the most of, which has stuck with you? Sorry, last name withheld. I mean, honestly, people are pretty
when you're
nice
a stranger
about correcting us. Like, overall, like, I don't think we get the worst of it. I see other podcasts get a lot more aggro energy from listeners. But the stuff I dread is when I, like, say something wrong about movies, because that's the topic of the show. And I'm like, well, my supposed expertise is all that I have. Like, there's like one time when I think I attributed a Martin Brest movie to Walter Hill or something, and I was like, and now that mistake is there forever. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm not that worried about it anymore. I feel like probably at the start of doing the show, I was a little more concerned that I might look foolish by saying something that's incorrect, but I've gotten over that and don't care. And when it comes to people writing in letters, if I don't like the energy, I don't read it. I ignore it.
The kind of corrections that stick with me are more the ones where, like, I've used a word that was insensitive, I've been unclear in what I'm saying, and
of course.
It sounds like I'm saying something I don't really, that I'm not intending to say. But then there are also sometimes times when someone catches me in a factual error, and it just gets to me because I'm the kind of guy that those stick out to. And I like to be the guy who catches other people in factual errors, as you may have guessed from this very podcast.
Everyone loves that guy.
Yeah, everybody loves him. It took me a long time into my 20s to realize, like, oh, nobody likes being corrected ever.
Yeah.
No one's ever like, thank you for telling me that. I'm glad that I now have it correct. But yeah, every now and then.
Although I feel like it is a sign of growth to be able to receive that correction and then respond in a way that isn't defensive.
Yes, that's true. That's the hard part. But yeah, for me, it's when if I've said something in a sloppy way, because we don't write this show ahead of time, we're just talking off the top of our heads, and there's an inadvertent implication or consequence. That's when I feel the worst about it.
Yeah. No, agreed on that. Sam, last name withheld, writes
Samwise Gamgee.
Floppers.
Gamgee? How do you pronounce his name?
Gamgee, dude. Come
Gamgee. I don't know. He's fictional, Stu, so get off my back.
We're all
sorry.
fictional.
Sorry, I'm being defensive
we
now.
all exist in the dreams of a mad god.
We all live in a simulation hologram of some kind. Yeah.
Sam writes, I met Anthony Bourdain at a book signing and told him how impressed I was that he narrated his own audiobooks. His reply, what else am I going to do? Get Jeremy Irons to narrate that shit? Mike, so my question to you is...
Sounds like Anthony Bourdain.
That was a solid Bourdain impression right there, Dan.
Yeah, that was.
My question to you...
I didn't know you had that one up your sleeve.
Is what
Dan,
celebrity would you like to...
Do another Anthony Bourdain. Now do Anthony Bourdain. No,
I wasn't...
Now pretend he works at a McDonald's.
Well, you want some of this shit?
Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. He would
anyway,
not like that shit. Yeah.
The question is, what celebrity would we like to narrate our memoirs?
Oh.
I'm just going to pick not out of like who I think would play me the most accurately, but who I would like to hear the voice of saying my memoirs is Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Okay. Fair. Yeah.
Elliot, you got a hot one?
Yeah, probably Cassandra Peterson.
Oh, that's an amazing choice. And of course, mine is Mr. McDonald's himself, Brian Cox.
Oh.
Da 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 da. I love it.
Thanks. So those are the letters. Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
That was an anticlimactic way to say it. Yeah.
I'll move on to recommendations, movies that we may have seen of late, or I don't know, whatever, a long time ago. I don't care. That
there's no statute of limitations. Yeah.
Yeah.
That we've enjoyed.
We've enjoyed. Oh, okay. Wait, I got to rethink mine.
I saw a movie recently. It was a Weird Wednesday presentation at Alamo, which I have returned to now that they have fixed their labor problems. They have allowed the union to be.
So correctors, stay away.
Yeah.
Well, I just
allowed the union. They bent to the will of the union.
They bent to
and
the will of the
recognized
union.
the power of organized labor. Daniel.
Yes.
We've gotten so political today. This is good stuff.
I know.
Yeah, we're heating up.
People love this.
Do they? I watched a movie called Wicked from 1973, which was.
So you watched the movie Wicked twice in a row, Dan? Just admit that's what it was. Yeah.
It was filmed in what the movie calls Duovision, which means that it is in split screen almost the entire movie. There are a couple of like emphasis moments where they switch to one shot, although like it seems kind of arbitrary when they decide what is important enough. And it is a wild movie. Like, I'm not going to say I think it's like great on its own. It is just extremely entertaining because they decided to use this gimmick, but they didn't really like think about why they were using this gimmick or how this gimmick would be used. Like in a movie like Time Code, where like it's split into 4 quadrants on the screen, it's all happening in real time, and sometimes the things cross over one another, and so you get a sense of like coherency to it. Whereas here, sometimes like one of the screens would be a flashback, sometimes both of them will be a flashback, sometimes one of them will be like someone telling a story and you'll see how it really happened in the other screen. Sometimes like things are happening like nearby, but you don't really have a sense of the geography, so it doesn't like increase the tension or anything. It just is more confusing. Sometimes 2 people will be in the same room and like 2 halves of the conversation will just be on like different screens. It's a weird movie. Like they do like it's like cutaway flashback that almost feels like a Family Guy gag at one point, where they're just like, "This isn't the first time you made a mistake," and then you like just flashback to like this shooting that happened, and then right back to the movie. It's like a killer thriller, but it's not filled with thrills. It's just strange. It's a strange thing to watch. Like a lot of the time, it seems like they didn't realize that making a movie with two concurrent screens going at the same time would mean they would have to shoot a lot more movies. So, like a lot of the time, something utterly boring is happening in one of the sides, which is good because it directs your attention where it needs to be. But it's not, the gimmick is not enhancing it at that point. But it's kind of a fascinating thing. So Wicked from 1973.
Dan, I'd never heard of this movie, and I just want to tell you, I'm looking at the information on Wikipedia, and it talks about how one of the big challenges in making the movie was he decided to write the script so that the script pages were divided down the middle, and you would have it split up the way it is. And he goes, and it says on Wikipedia, finding a typewriter that could accommodate these unique needs proved challenging for the writer. And
no shit.
I love that from step one, it was difficult to make this movie. Just finding the right typewriter was hard.
That typewriter did not exist because it would be dumb.
And it's not like a Mission Impossible thing where they're like, okay, fuck it, we have to invent this special typewriter. Yeah, my recommendation, I don't think is going to catch anyone by surprise, but I recently saw the movie Weapons, the follow-up to Barbarian from the same writer-director Zach Kreger. And
you seem pretty confident about how to say Samwise Gamgee, and now suddenly the shoe is on the other foot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm much better at Lord of the Rings stuff than real life stuff, Elliot. Look at my life.
Yeah, fair.
But so this is a horror movie. One of the things that I will give this movie extra credit for, bonus points, is that the trailer gives you very little information. It gives you just kind of the initial setup and then gives you hints at the chaos to come. This is a horror movie that in some ways, to me, like Barbarian, isn't really about anything, but is a wild, exciting horror movie ride. It's very gross at times. It has some great scares, and it has like situations that I feel like I haven't seen before. I think it's really fun. It has some great performances. I really enjoyed it. So Weapons.
I'm going to recommend a movie that I don't know if enjoyed is quite the right word, but which I found a lot that I found meaningful, but also strange, but also just interesting. And that is David Cronenberg's most recent movie, The Shrouds.
Oh, wow.
David Cronenberg is one of these directors who, as he has gotten older, his movies have stripped away the idea of like sensationalism or thrill in a way that I find really fascinating and interesting, where he is presenting a very strange story about a man whose grief for his wife was so overwhelming that he invented a shroud that a dead body can wear underground that provides a real-time 3D video image of it so you can watch your loved ones rotting and never lose sight of them. And this somehow gets him wrapped up into a conspiracy involving potentially the surveillance state, potentially the Chinese government, potentially different environmental, terror activists, and and also his own kind of like relationship with his wife's body and his sexual interest in that and his inability to kind of let it go. And there's a lot of very Cronenberg feelings and thoughts floating around in it, and it never fully comes together particularly. This is a very Mulholland Drive type movie where apparently, like Mulholland Drive, it was started as an idea for a television series and then was completed as a movie when it was not made as a television series. But it's a really fascinating kind of late period.
It was going to be like an Office-style sitcom, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's set at the cemetery where they watch people rotting on little screens. Yeah. It's a really fascinating late period David Cronenberg movie, and it feels very personal. And like a lot of Cronenberg stuff, like there are things that are not especially pleasant that you see or that happen in it. It is a movie that plays with taboo stuff. But I found a lot in it that I found really meaningful and interesting. Even though when it ended, I was like, oh, it ended. I didn't like the ending is fairly abrupt, and I was like, oh, the movie's over. But I would recommend it if you are a Cronenberg fan and you're interested in seeing where he is now.
I've been meaning to get to it, and I just haven't gotten around to it. Have you seen it yet, Dan?
No.
Yeah, it had such like a brief theatrical run.
It does not surprise me that it didn't make a big splash, not just because the subject matter is, I think a lot of people would find distasteful, but also because it's so calm for most of the movie. Like even when the character's in trouble or there's kind of like rough emotional stuff happening, it's presented in a very calm, kind of very even-keeled way. And so it does not deliver thrills, like I'm saying. It doesn't deliver – it's not like The Fly or Scanners or something where you're like, oh shit, the guy's head exploded. You know, it's a very much a mature late period Cronenberg, but I think it's worth watching if you like his stuff.
It doesn't cut to a guy barfing because somebody's head exploded.
It doesn't. No, he doesn't pull from that Sopranos episode.
Yeah, it seems like a movie that might confuse non-Cronenberg heads, perhaps. Like what I associate with it so far, I want to see it, is I ran into Griffin Newman at Nighthawk after he had just seen it, and he was very positive about it, but said that like there's like a large group of the people in the theater like laughing and being asses about watching it and
laughing at how like dumb it was, or something?
Like thinking of it as like bad or something. When like I assume it's just a lot of Cronenberg weirdness.
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff in it that is the way that War of the Worlds is the one we watched today is dumb and stupid in a way that I think is not intentional. I think they thought they were making kind of a slapdash movie, but they weren't like, let's make a dumb movie. It wasn't a choice. Whereas this one, like I said, it's a little slow. Everything is very underplayed in a way that could be hilarious if it was not intentional, but it feels intentional. And so I think it's the difference between when something is meant to be weird or strange and when it's not meant to be. And if you don't know Cronenberg, then I could see mistaking that. Guy Pearce is in it as maybe the least handsome he's ever been in a movie, and he's playing this weird character who says some strange things. And if I was like, if I didn't trust the guy making the movie, I might be like, this is a weird performance. I'm not sure that this performance makes any sense at all. But because you're going into it, I'm already in a Cronenberg state of mind. I
love that song.
I'm in a Cronenberg state of mind.
See a guy become a fly down in Hollywood.
Okay, well, 3, I assume, great recommendations. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for at the end of the podcast, where I say, if you like this, check out Maximum Fun, our network over at MaximumFun.org. We can only exist thanks to the support of Max Fun members, and it helps to check out some of the other shows too. And thank you to Alex Smith, our producer. He goes by the name Howell Doughty all over the internet. I've lately been enjoying his podcast, Big Howl and Possum, which is a show about him playing sort of a backwoods character whose best friend is a giant possum, and they just kind of talk about nonsense. And it works way better as a podcast than you might imagine from that sort of sketched out, very simple idea. I laugh a lot at it. So check that out as well. For the Flophouse, I've been Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
And I continue to be Elliot Kalin. As I was at the beginning, so I am at the end, forever and ever. Amen.
See ya.
I'm looking for my notes. There they are.
Are you doing the summary this time, Dan?
I was on the sheet, I believe. Right?
That doesn't quite answer the question, but I like it.
It did answer it in the most passive-aggressive
way.
Well,
I said that I have notes. I feel like from context clues, it all fits together.
You're
the
right.
question has been answered.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say anyone was an asshole. I said that, like, I think it's pretty clear.
Let's roll back the tape.
From the totality of what was said. That. Okay, anyway.
You remind me of the kids in the Ozu movie where they're like, adults have too much small talk. It's a waste of time. Who cares? Dan, this is the kind of little stuff that lubricates a conversation, lubricates social interaction.
It's that spice, it's the good stuff.
That is, look, I have gotten better at small talk, is the thing. I used to, like, not understand it at all.
No, you're still big. It's just the talk got small.
Why does this... And then I was like, oh, wait, this is a trait of neurodivergent people. We don't understand the efficacy or need for non-functional talk.
Yeah.
But I get it. We're lubricating our friendship joints.
Maximum Fun,
A worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
Directly
by you.